Hey, everybody, and welcome to another segment of AstrologyAnswers.com's weekly forecast. My name is Terence. The week begins on Monday, October the 3rd. Now, Mercury just went direct on the 2nd, on Sunday. So communication Mercury, discerning Mercury is moving very slowly. So it's not yet time to make the best decisions because your mind, think of Mercury being slow. Our minds are still slow, a bit sluggish, but the moon or the Mercury is going direct in the sign of Virgo. And so we're trying to pay more attention to the details of Virgo, being more analytical and sensible with Virgo. And this is an important week because as slowly Mercury is speeding up and our mental faculties are getting sharper, by the end of the week on Sunday, the 9th, will be the full moon in fiery Aries. So there's a lot of energies that's been on hold in September, a lot of push and pull, but now things can start to move, open up, move more forwards. So on Monday, the 3rd, the moon is in Capricorn. This is a good sign to start the work week. If this is what, if this is your schedule, because Capricorn is very organized. It's very business minded. It can be very disciplined. And the moon in Capricorn will be in harmony with innovative Uranus around 7:30 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time, and for those next hour to 2 hours. So that jump starts the work week. That moon can be, in Capricorn, can be very traditional and very pragmatic, but in harmony with Uranus, it stimulates new ideas. We're being more open to thinking out of the box. By later in the evening, around 6 p.m. Pacific time, and then over that next hour or two, the moon will be in harmony with Mercury in Virgo, because Virgo is an earth sign. The moon is transiting through Capricorn, an earth sign. So all that earth signs are compatible with each other. Earth signs are sensible, realistic, practical. That moon in harmony with Mercury by 6 p.m. Pacific time. The mind is, you're starting to feel more comfortable with your ideas, with conversations, good for writing, good for studying. On Tuesday, the moon is in Aquarius. Aquarius is more futuristic, more innovative, where the Capricorn moon was more traditional. That moon in Aquarius is in harmony with expansive Jupiter around 8 a.m. and off of that hour or so later. This can be all things Jupiter with that public moon, we're resonating to. Very favorable for studying, very favorable for traveling. It's also, we might be feeling a lot more hopeful and optimistic. By mid-afternoon Pacific time, the moon will be in harmony with Venus. This Venus is that social planet. This can be very harmonious for networking and socializing. Venus is also very creative. And later in the day, the moon in Aquarius, an air sign, will be in harmony with the sun in Libra, an air sign. And so when the sun and the moon are in harmony, it's an easier day. Things fall more into place. There's not a lot of overall resistance. On Wednesday, the moon in Aquarius will be a bit edgy, irritable, frustrating, when it's in hard angle to unpredictable rebellious Uranus around 10 a.m. And then just after that, after the moon hits Uranus, that can be unexpected emotional stress or upsets. Then the moon crosses Saturn, and that can be separation. So maybe for some of you, you might be seeing how that around 10 a.m. to 12 noon Pacific time, there could be an upset, an unexpected upset that could cause, with the Saturn, a separation. On a more positive take on this, because not everybody experience the energies the same way, then that unexpected upset of Uranus, the Saturn, instead of separation, the Saturn could be, okay, let's focus, let's ground, let's stabilize all that upset. The moon is going to go void, of course, on Wednesday at 3:46 p.m. Pacific time. And as I mention every week, the moon is no longer making aspects to other planets while it's transiting that sign of Aquarius. So the energy is flat. And so you don't want to make any promises, because with the void, of course, it's more difficult to follow through. You don't want to start a new project, a job, because the energy just could be flat. Now, this is a long void, of course. It's from 3:46 p.m. Pacific time on Wednesday into Thursday at 5:48 a.m. So it's quite a long time. Now, on Thursday, 5:48 a.m. Pacific time, the moon goes into Pisces. When it was in Aquarius, Aquarius is more mental, more intellectual, more quirky, if you will. But when it goes into Pisces, the general public tone, Pisces is more sensitive, more caring, more empathetic, and discerning Mercury that's slowly picking up speed by midday on Thursday Pacific time until mid-morning Friday Pacific time. The communication curious Mercury will be in harmony with Pluto, probing Pluto. Mercury to Pluto is good for studying, researching, investigation. Mercury to Pluto is very favorable for counseling and for an interest in psychology, an interest in astrology. Now, on Friday, the Mercury still in harmony with Pluto through the morning. The moon in sensitive Pisces will be in harmony with eclectic, innovative Uranus by noon Pacific time and over that next hour or so. So with that Mercury Pluto wrapping up and then that emotional moon to Uranus, maybe all that insight and introspection and studying from the day before into early Friday Pacific time, that you're more open to getting out of any old routine, trying something new, be more with original thinking. Now, the moon, however, will be in a stressful angle to impatient Mars early evening, like 7:30 p.m. Pacific time, maybe up till 9. And that could, if you are trying to sleep, that moon Mars, there might be some restlessness. Moon Mars can also be some emotional anxiousness and stress. Just remember, this too shall pass. On Saturday, the 8th, Pluto, transformational Pluto, goes direct. It went retrograde at the end of April 2022. All the outer planets goes retrograde every year. But with the outer planets, that has a lot to do with the collective consciousness. Most of you won't notice the difference of Pluto going direct. unless you have planets around 26 Capricorn or aspecting 26 Capricorn, because that's when Pluto, that's the degree Pluto is going direct. And that means whatever has been on hold with that Pluto, whatever you've been studying, investigating, can start releasing. Now, the moon will be in Pisces, sensitive Pisces, but it's going to be retrograde 4:11 a.m. to 8:57 a.m. Pacific time. Then it goes into fiery Aries. Pisces is more sensitive and introverted. Aries is very extroverted, and it's setting up the full moon on Sunday. So as the moon by 8:57 a.m. Pacific time goes into fiery, initiative, courageous Aries, it's going to align with Jupiter as it does once a month. And Jupiter is that moon to Jupiter that can trigger a lot of optimism, a lot of hope, good for traveling, which is Jupiter, good for marketing, which is Jupiter, good for teaching, and publishing, all Jupiter. Then we get into Sunday and the full moon peaks when everything comes to light, a time that things that might have been unresolved or on the back burner, especially in September with Mercury in retrograde. And now this week, Mercury is just slowly picking up speed. So by Sunday, much can be revealed that might have been hidden. This full moon can often test relationships because the sun is in Libra, the sign of relationships and partnerships and compromise, but opposite the moon. When the sun and moon are opposite once a month, that's the full moon. The moon in Aries. Aries represents the ego, the individual, the self, versus or in confrontation to partnerships, the Libra. So this is a time of testing relationships. The weak ones may show its cracks. The strong ones will only become stronger, especially as Venus, that rules Libra, Venus, the planet of love and compromise, Venus will be in harmony with the full moon, and pragmatic, stabilizing Saturn will be in harmony also with the full moon. So for most of us, wherever we got off track with relationships during the retrograde of September, this can bring to light a lot of positive resolution. So I want to thank you for tuning in. I hope to see you next week with my next segment. Until then, be safe and well.